What's good, YouTube? Big up yourself. Long time no see. I've been having mad technical issues, like my MacBook broke and such, and the internet speed at my house isn't so great. Usually I upload videos from my baby mother's house, and so I just haven't really been on the platform. But I'm here to talk about the death of Superman, and not so much just that. I want to quickly go over that and go into how good I felt it was or whatever, and then I'm going to go into why I think, like, why again the DCEU is just a letdown in a lot of ways. Now, I preface this by saying I've said this many times, I really enjoyed Justice League, and no one's gonna make me not enjoy that film. I really enjoyed it. When I went to watch it, I've watched it multiple times. I've got the digital version of it. To me, it was fun. I liked the way they bumped up my boy Superman's power levels. I liked all the characters intertwined. And yeah, you can say, oh, acting this, acting that. I didn't really get brought out of the film by acting. I thought the film was done well. I liked how Wonder Woman and Steppenwolf had a confrontation first and such and such. And so let's talk about the death of Superman. So with the death of Superman, obviously going into it, we knew what the film was about because it's in the title. And anyone that's kind of read or kind of like watched the comics explained or whatever, a comic story on the original death of Superman, you'll know that the story is not great. The original story, it's really not great. It's just okay. It's an okay story. It's been done a few times. It's actually been done in animated form before. It was called Superman Doomsday. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my camera. Haven't done this for a while. But yeah, it was called Superman Doomsday, and same thing kind of happened in that, and that film kind of covered what's going to be covered in the next film. The next film is going to be Reign of the Supermen, and what they're doing, they're kind of taking the New 52 kind of style of characters and stuff, and they're putting them into this timeline. I mean, taking the characters from the 90s and putting them into like the New 52 timeline. So we're going to get a New 52 Superboy, we're going to get a New 52 Eradicator, a New 52 Cyborg Superman. So it's going to be quite interesting, the next film, and it's going to be interesting seeing them bring Superman back and such and such. I like what they've done so far with their animated universe. I would really enjoy if that was how they did the films, but obviously they haven't. And we can talk about that after. I just want to glaze over this film. So, same old story, Superman versus Doomsday. Doomsday wrecks the whole Justice League, and this is a spoiler review, by the way. I'm not going to go completely over the film, but he wrecks the whole league. Superman's left to stand against him. They fight at a good level, but Doomsday is just wrecking him. And Superman ends up killing him with one decisive blow at the end. Now, that's the quick breakdown of it. The real breakdown of the film, it's not so much about Doomsday, it's more about Superman and Lois Lane. I want to come back a little bit. It's more about Superman and Lois Lane. It's about, because in this universe, in the first couple movies, Superman was with Wonder Woman. I think in the first 3 films, in Justice League War, he gets with her. Justice League Throne of Atlantis, they're together. And then Justice League Dark, I think it's either Dark or Atlantis, they're legit still together. And then kind of in this one, they're just not. They kind of glaze over that they were together for a bit and now they're not, and they kind of respect each other still and everything, and you know, and there's great moments in it. But yeah, he's basically gearing up to be with Lois in this film, which is interesting because in the New 52, I think he stayed with Wonder Woman basically till the New 52 ended in the comics, and it's really just a story about Clark Kent being Superman and not wanting to let people into his world because they could get hurt and such and such. And it was just, the way they did it was really good. And in the film, Lois already loves Clark, so it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? She already is on Clark. She's not on Superman, she's on Clark before he's Superman. So that's good. So, you know, overall, it was a really good, they framed it really well. And when he died, it made it more impactful. Well, you knew he was going to die. But when he died, it made it, because he was in this film, he was such a hero. The way they conveyed him, like he was really a hero, like he really was legitimately trying to do the right things, being a good hero. He wasn't overzealous, he wasn't, you know, he was really trying to keep it real, saving kids from doomsday and such, and putting his body on the line, and you kind of seen him kind of go through this thing, and it just really did feel like the 90s comic book, how he kind of went against doomsday. I personally, as a fan, and I'm just gonna, I'm sick of the Superman and Doomsday narrative, because Doomsday hasn't beat Superman in a fight since that 90s comic book and since Hunter Prey. Since that time, Superman's beat Doomsday countless times. So they keep telling this regurgitating this story about Doomsday beating Superman. But in the comic book, Superman's kind of been on a higher level than Doomsday for years. Like when they actually met in the New 52, which this universe is based on, Superman ripped him in half and just left him in space. So it's kind of a, for me, it's like, but it's a good, it was a good way to develop his character, because they haven't had a solo Superman movie out of this DCEU. I think Batman's got two. Batman's got Son of Batman, and he's got the Court of Owls one. I can't remember what that one's called, but Batman's got two films. Superman's got no films in this DCEU. I mean DC's animated universe. So, you know, it was a good way to kind of, well, it basically was a Superman film. Basically, the Justice League was in it, but it was a Superman film. But in the Batman ones, there's no Justice League. It's just Batman and his people. So it kind of like, I feel like we need a time now where we can have a few Superman movies, and hopefully this next one will be a legit just a Superman movie. Couple more things about this film. They've kind of gone forward in time. So there's a few new people in the league. Hawkman's in the league. He was drawn really well and stuff. We didn't get to see much of him. John Jones is in the league. He did a couple cool things in the film, but other than that, he wasn't really active in the film too much. I wanted to see more of him. I wanted to see him and Doomsday really go to a stalemate, and then Doomsday just figure out how to beat him or something, but that didn't happen. Doomsday just whooped him. So now I've talked about that movie, and I give The Death of Superman, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, because it was really good. But certain things I would have liked in it, they didn't put in it. So it gets an 8 out of 10. So let's talk about the DC, this stuff in comparison to the DCEU. So the DC animated universe, to me, is the universe that DC should have cinematically. That's the type of stuff they should be doing. That's the type of stuff they should be copying, but they're not. And I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. They have the best reference. Better than anyone else. They've got better reference than Marvel. They've got a better reference than any other company for how to put movies together about your characters. You could literally copy some of these animated films scene for scene and have great films, because they're the same length. All you got to do is put the actors there and create the CG effects. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's pretty much all you have to do in comparison to what Marvel has to do. Marvel has to come up with complete new concepts. They have to have complete new things made. They have to have their set and shot designs created by new people. Whereas, you know, for the most part in these DC movies, you have that stuff laid out. You just have to kind of re-act it with actors, you know. And that's where I am with this. It makes me feel bad, because you've gone and done The Death of Superman in the DCEU in Batman v Superman, and it didn't have the same weight, because Doomsday was just created by Lex Luthor. He wasn't someone that came from space. He wasn't this ancient conqueror. He wasn't this unstoppable life form. He was just a being created from an abomination from Zod's body. Shows up, Superman and Wonder Woman tag team him for a bit, and then Superman basically commits suicide, which he could have just threw that kryptonite spear to Wonder Woman and she would have killed the thing, because she was immune to kryptonite. But he didn't do that because it didn't make sense. So that's where we are. So it's kind of upsetting that they haven't followed that same direction. And it's upsetting that we get films like Suicide Squad instead of films like Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And I just don't get where they're trying to go. I don't get what direction they're trying to go in. I don't get what DC universe they're trying to convey. I do like the original stuff they put. I do like the whole Justice League and how they've been conveyed. But I don't like a lot of the other stuff they've done with the characters. But we'll see. We'll see in the future. You know what actually happens with the DCEU. Right now, I'm a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. With how they're doing their characters in their movies. Still, I think the DCEU's got more potential, because I think the characters fundamentally are better. And I think the way they look and the effects they use and the cameras they shoot with are better than the Marvel cameras and effects and such and such. And I prefer the DC color palettes, and I think the DC stuff just looks better and sharper. But they have to deliver with good films, and that's the issue. You know, I think a DC EU film, a Green Lantern film, would look incredible. Because to me, Green Lantern's comparable to the X-Men. It's a whole wide world of characters that are literally just part of one storyline. And that's what the X-Men is. It's a whole wide world of characters, which literally could be, they could just be their own story without anyone else. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave this. I haven't made a video for a while. I'm sorry. I've been Fiji. This is where I think and I feel. Please like and subscribe. Share if you want to. It helps me get off the ground. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.